David here with Figboot on Pens, here with a special announcement I am very excited to make, which has been over 2 years in the making. I'm here today to announce my next project, which will be a collaboration with Gravitas Pens, and the pen is called the Bifrost. Before I share the pen, there is a bit of backstory which I feel is important. With this project, I was able to do something I was very proud of, which was working with Gravitas to create something new and different. And I wanted it to be reasonably priced as well. Now, I won't say that it was something I designed from scratch. The starting point was the Gravitas flagship model. In regard to the general shape of the pen, that I will freely admit that it was greatly influenced by the Leonardo Prisma, which was a model exclusive to the Italian retailer Stilo & Stile. I'll show it to you here in a bit, but the frosted resin with the subtle PVD trim, in my opinion, looked amazing. I just really loved that pen. So with that inspiration, I wanted to come up with my own take on a pen with some of those same elements. I've known Ben Walsh, the gentleman behind Gravitas brand, for many years and have reviewed several of his pens on this channel. He's based out of Ireland and makes some very unique and innovative pens. About 2.5 years ago at the DC show, I discussed some ideas with Ben for a collaboration, and for the vast majority of things, he just said, yeah, we could do that. He also made some design suggestions of his own, and we worked through some of the potential challenges. It was a true collaboration, and we went into production. This is where the story takes a bit of a turn, which I feel is important, so I appreciate your patience before I get to showing you what I feel is a pretty special pen for a very reasonable price. When you are running a growing business, you are essentially a one-man shop. Then it is very rare that you will be someone who excels at every aspect of running that burgeoning business. Ben is a great designer and an innovator when it comes to creating and overseeing the manufacturing of pens. But by his own admission, the customer-facing aspects of his business are areas which don't play into his strengths. And his business grew, and that part of his business suffered. And it suffered publicly to the point where, even though the pens for this project were produced, I didn't feel good about releasing them. Because if I partner with a brand, I want it to be with a brand that I personally believe in and support. And at that point in time, in my good conscience, I could not support the brand. Ben expressed a desire to improve certain aspects of his business, and in early 2024, I did let him know that over the next year, if things improved, then I would consider releasing the project. And to his credit, Ben decided to make some significant changes to his business. He partnered with the team from Pen Venture, who have a great deal of expertise when it comes to retail operations and customer support. In essence, they excelled at the things that Ben did not, so it made for a great partnership. And over this past year, I feel that there has been enough improvements made that I feel good not only about releasing this pen, but supporting the brand. Okay, that is enough backstory. Let's take a look at a pen. So what I'm going to do here is show you this wonderful limited edition creation in detail, let you know how and when you can get your hands on one. So in order to get a look at all of that, please join me over here at camera 2. To begin with, I feel like it's been forever since I've actually spoken to you guys. Before I went on my lengthy trip to Europe, I actually recorded a whole bunch of videos so I could post them while I was gone. And then I just was a little bit tired from my trip, and so I didn't record this past week, and then went to the Atlanta show, and so it felt like a month since I've sat down in front of a camera. But I'm glad to be talking to you right now. The pen will arrive in this small box. And inside, we have the pen. This is the Gravitas Bifrost. Now, I typically wait until the end to talk price, but I wanted to let you know right up front that these will retail for what I feel is a very reasonable $129. My last couple of projects have had higher price points, and it was important to me to have this one with a price point that would be much more accessible. Now, it's always a bit of a challenge to name a pen, and I was having some problems coming up with an appropriate name for this one, so I outsourced it. I made a post on Reddit, or actually, first of all, I made a post on the Pen Addict Slack and received a number of suggestions, and then I made a post on Reddit asking the same question, and I said that if I choose your name, then you will win a pen. On Reddit, the Bifrost name was suggested and was far and beyond the favorite name of the group. So I will be giving one of these pens to the user who first suggested that name. And then when I went back to the Slack thread, there was one user who suggested the name there as well. So I'll be giving them a pen as well. And I feel the name of the pen fits. If you're not familiar, in Norse mythology, Bifrost is a burning rainbow bridge that reaches between Earth and Asgard, which is the realm of the gods. Let's go over the parts and features of this pen. It does have a torpedo shape with a frosted polycarbonate. And the tips are accented by these PVD treated steel tips, which are fairly rounded. So they're not sharp at all. The cap twists off with 1.5 rotations, and underneath we have some more PVD treatment. There is a nice rainbow nib. The nib is stamped with the Gravitas logo with the plastic feed. And then we have a metal section. And as you can see, the section also has that PVD treatment as well as being grooved. These grooves do a really good job of securing your grip. When you are using this pen, your grip really is not going anywhere with these grooves. Behind the section is the threads and then an angled step up to the remainder of the barrel. The barrel is straight until about this portion where then it angles down and the end is punctuated with another rainbow tip. This is a cartridge converter pen. It accepts standard international cartridges and a converter is provided. A couple of things I really like here. First of all, you can see that we continued the PVD look here and that it has it on the interior housing as well as the converter. And that also that I wanted to use something here that I wanted to use was this clear piston knob. It always annoys me when you have a clear demonstrator and inside the barrel you just see that black stick. It just wasn't a look that I was fond of. So here, with the prominence of the piston knob, it is diminished a little bit with it being clear, and it hides it a little bit. And I just think that that's just a much better look, and you can see the rainbow elements that are inside there as well. While it would be nice to see ink sloshing about this barrel, with the metal housing, eye dropping would not be recommended. Okay, here's some size comparisons. Here it is with another Gravitas pen. This is just one of their flagship models. And then this one was called the Skittles model. This one was made from aluminum and this one was made from steel and is significantly heavier. And then this one was the Entry model. And then in regard to some of my own projects, we have the Leonardo Momento Zero, and that one was just called the Figboot and then this was the Visconti Voyager, and those were sold out. But then also I have the Montegrappa Aurora Borealis. And I do still have a very few number of these available as well, so these will be available on my website when you go to check those out as well. In regard to a writing sample, just wanted to show you what they look like. This is the Gravitas. And this is the Bifrost. And this is a broad stainless steel nib. And the ink that I'm using here is Pilot Iroshizuku. And this is Tsukiyo. And then just in regard to a quick writing sample, This is a stainless steel nib. It is a bit on the firm side, so you're not going to get a lot of line variation out of here. That I would say for a broad nib, that the ink is rather generous in regard to the flow, in regard to some reverse writing. It actually works very well and lays down a very medium line. And then in regard to some fast writing. The feed keeps up nicely. I also wanted to share with you the fine flex nib, just so you can see what that looks like. And that in regard to the fine flex, so we have, well, I pushed it a little bit too much there, and it railroaded a little bit, but you can see that, that if you do take your time, you can get a decent amount of line variation out of here. You can say flex. And then even if you're just writing normally with that, it does lay down a nice fine line. Okay, now for the details of the sale. This is a limited run of approximately 200 units, but this is not a numbered limited edition. I have the pens in my possession, so there will be specific quantities available for each of the nib sizes. The pen will be available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and fine flex. And once they are sold out, they are sold out. There are no current plans for an additional run. As I mentioned, the cost will be $129 plus shipping. Domestic shipping to the US will be $15, and the international rate is $25. The pens will only be available on my website, figboot.com, and the sale will begin on April 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern, and that's a Saturday. This is not a pre-sale. Your pen will be shipped fairly quickly, and I am anxious to get these pens in everyone's hands, and I'm looking forward to seeing how folks feel about them. I'm confident folks will love them. I was at the Atlanta Pen Show this weekend, and I did bring some of these pens with me and sell a few of them in a soft pre-sale, and it was fun to see people get excited about them and enjoy them. And I hope that they enjoy their pens. I'm sure that they will. As with all of my projects, any issues or support will be handled by myself, mainly because I have the inventory in my possession, but also I feel if I am putting my name behind something, I personally want to make sure that everyone who supports this project is satisfied and pleased with their purchase. In the end, I'm very pleased with how this model turned out. It was a lot of fun trying my hand at actually designing a pen. Maybe one day it might be fun to design one completely from scratch as opposed to tweaking an existing design. But I hope that folks will be excited about this model as I am. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.